Well, welcome, sports fans, to Fantasy Daily, your favorite fantasy football podcast. Tonight, we're joined by none other than Dead Rats manager Dave Miller, coming off a humiliating loss. Can't wait to see what Dave has to say about his team and everything that was happening there with the Dead Rats. Let's get to Dave right now. We're here with Dead Rats manager Dave. Dave, thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here, Kevin.
Your Dead Rats team didn't perform well this week. What happened?
Thanks for the question, Kevin. Great question, by the way. And I'm going to answer that by saying we didn't do the fundamentals. So we're going to go to the locker room and we're going to take it day by day.
Okay, but specifically, who didn't play well? I mean, what did they do wrong?
We both know, Kevin, that there's no defense in this game. I mean, you can't control how many points the other team scores. You just got to score more than them to win.
Right. So what will you do different next week?
Oh, well, we're going to work on the fundamentals and we're going to take it day by day.
So you're not really going to give me any real answers here, are you, Dave?
Of course not, Kevin. I'm just going to give you cliches, buzzwords, and just whatever I can think of until you stop asking me questions.
Well, then, Dave, thanks so much for being here, and good luck next week when you beat off all weekend long.
Yes. Well, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the time, and I love your work.
Dave, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Kevin. I'm sure it's better for you to be here than it is for me.
Oh, man. There's just something about doing a podcast coming off of a big win. I mean, especially, everybody wants to start strong. You know, you do the draft and everybody's got high hopes for their team. And then your name's Junior and you draft Christian McCaffrey first and he doesn't play.
Yeah. Or you don't really have an injury that affects, really your points, but you still don't score much more than 80. That kind of hurts too.
That does hurt.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while, but let's just jump right into it, Dave. You've got an award to give out, a Miller Time Team of the Week.
You know what? In the middle of the season is when I sometimes get cute and all that stuff, but I'm just gonna keep it simple this week and give it to Andy. You come out strong, you win high points. You're the Miller Time Team of the Week. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you set your team name as Carry the Boats and you carry the boats.
You carry the boats.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have carried the boats, he would have been, every week he sets himself up for a possible hillbilly because he says he's going to carry the boats and then he might not carry the boats. But he carried the boats, Kevin. He got 120 something, 124.3. It's a pretty good week one, I'll give him that. Good job, Andy.
So
where's that leave us? Where does that leave us?
That brings us to the oh man, the Hillbilly Harrison Hillbilly of the Week. And I'll tell you, Dave, I've been torn all week long about this award because we've got some really good candidates. All right.
Okay.
So first off, we've got Junior, who it was a foregone conclusion is going to get a win. He's going to beat Brennan. And, I'm sure there was even some chatter and chat, about it. Like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if McCaffrey didn't play? And, and then the simple fact that Junior did make a substitution. I mean, pure luck that he's got the Jets defense on his bench that he's able to drop.
Just one of those things. Yeah. I mean, and he probably didn't want to drop the Jets. I mean, he picked them for a reason. Probably had, they're a good defense. He's probably got matchups that he's looking for in later weeks. And, he didn't want to do that.
So that's definitely hillbilly-ish, you know what I mean, to lose like that the way that he did. But I got to go with Rennie because when you start the season off and put up a big old 69er, I mean, all your hopes and dreams about the draft, you've been looking forward to this since February. It's like, here it all is, and then just lay a giant egg.
Where did he go wrong?
Well, funny you should say that. Joe Burrow scored 7.9 points.
Okay. Yeah,
Marvin
that
Harrison
wasn't good.
Jr., his highly touted rookie wide
Yeah.
receiver, had 1 catch.
Okay.
Cincinnati defense against New England, everybody's like, oh, that's the smart start. That's going to be, no, he got 4 points there. Travis Kelce, big name tight end, 3.4 points. So, the better question would be, and I'll just ask you, Dave, where did it go right? Is there anybody on his team that's not named Dave Montgomery? Is that right? Dave Montgomery? Yeah. David Montgomery that didn't hold their weight.
Nico had a decent game, right? Houston's going to be tough. You got a lot of mouths to feed. Your Houston guy did well. A lot of guys did well. So 11.7.
Yeah, Collins had a lot of yards. I think that, man, 117 yards but no touchdowns just doesn't look as, what I mean?
His running backs were fine, but yeah, you hit it on the head. You got Burrow, that's disappointing, and then just nothing below Collins, receiver, tight end, defense, and that's really where.
Well, and
everybody, if you kind of thought that the Bengals, bad offense, maybe they get at least one defensive touchdown, some sacks, get up in the 15s, 15, 16.
Do what Chicago did. Don't play well, but your defense, does a lot of great things. So,
but that didn't happen. So, congratulations, Rennie. Week 1.
Well, and part of it too is, Dave, and see if you feel this for me. I want the sting of this loss to linger with Rennie for as long as possible. So by giving him the Hillbilly Harrison Hillbilly of the Week, it just kind of keeps it going. You know what I mean? And
he's got to just sit there and think about it.
And now and what does he get for his giant loss? He gets to play Adam,
who's madder than fire.
Yeah, have you noticed how quiet Adam's been over the last?
He's plotting and scheming. He knows who he's going to. He's got 3 pickups that nobody's even thought about, and they're all going to score 20 points.
Yes, these guys are on practice squads right now, and he's called GMs to elevate them up. And they're going to play this week.
There's somebody he's earmarked that, the person in front of them is going to get hurt on Friday night at a party, and then they're going to, step in and score 20. He already knows that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Rennie, you're in trouble.
So just real quick, Dave, little recap of week 1.
Okay.
What stood out to you, maybe just from some of these matchups, and I'll just kind of ask you about a few of these. So, Ed versus Travis, anything kind of surprising there, either with players on those teams or just the fact that Ed won? Anything kind of jump out to you?
The fact that we all were kind of low on Travis, and he got off to a pretty good start with Lamar and Henry. I was a little concerned, moving forward. I think I mentioned it's going to be tough maybe sometimes for both of those guys to score really well because there's only so many rushing yards to be had. But there's probably going to be weeks where Henry gets a couple low, early or touchdowns from 2 yards out or whatever, and that's going to help his cause. But boy, outside of that, Travis just didn't do anything. And Ed, 87, it's not, you can win a week with that, and he did. But yeah, it wasn't because of his quarterback. He had, he's probably going to have better days out of Purdy. So yeah. I think it was more Travis doing bad.
Well, Travis was a low tier candidate for Hillbilly of the Week. And I know, just give him a pass just because it's week 1, and I don't know that anybody saw these guys, but 50 points sitting on your bench doesn't help you get wins.
Yeah, but that's like I said, week 1, you're not going to start those guys over the guys you drafted way higher,
right? But but it'll be interesting to see, does Jaden Reed make it into his starting lineup?
Right now he doesn't have him in, and it's
does
Wednesday night.
Worthy make it into his starting lineup? Both those guys.
There's some leagues, Kevin, where you can start 4 wide receivers. Did you know that?
I never heard of that before.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be.
Yeah.
So
nobody's ever thought of that. Yeah.
No. I'm. Isn't it funny that I feel like Travis drafts as if he's in a flex all the time.
He's just hoping that magically overnight it'll just appear and he can start 2 tight ends or 4 wide receivers.
Hey, but Team Libertas. Ed always gets out the gate strong, so it'll be interesting to see if he can continue this, past week 5 or 6. So We already talked about Andy carrying the boats.
He did.
Really a great matchup. I mean, Lee did well.
Lee wasn't out of it, the whole, not like the whole weekend or anything. He had 98. He could have scored more,
Yeah, I mean, disappointing game from Mark Andrews this is a completely different game if Likely doesn't score those touchdowns than Andrews does.
Yeah, and that's, who knows, moving forward, there's going to be people galore that go crazy over Likely and pick him up.
So tell me if you thought this was interesting. And this is kind of like I don't want a deeper dive, but Lee is one of the teams that drafted wide receiver. His running backs did awesome.
Yeah.
And his wide receivers subpar. So it's just super interesting. St. Brown, Adams, and Metcalf. So I'm high on Lee's team only because I think that if his running backs can produce, his wide receivers will put up numbers.
You would think that their quarterbacks are going to remember they exist.
Yeah. Now, I am worried about Rodgers. Now, he can change him out. There's other guys out there that he can get.
Yeah. But Rodgers could also turn around in a heartbeat and have 4 touchdowns,
He could.
He didn't go much to Williams. They didn't have the ball much. It was just a bad night altogether for them. But
I'll tell you, though, his little screens to Breeze Hall look like they could go somewhere.
And they will.
He could easily break one.
Yeah, so I think Rodgers, if he does stick with him, there's worse people, that you could, stick with.
And if you're Andy, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Josh Allen is good at throwing the football and running the football.
And running it.
Yeah.
Worried there, he was a little beat up, but it looks like he's going to be fine, of course.
Yeah. You and Ratty, where did that go wrong, Dave? You want to give me some real answers this time?
Yeah, some real. Yeah. What'd you think of that, by the way? That's a pretty good press conference. I've never seen better. Yeah. It reminded me of the debate, the presidential debate, because nobody answered any questions.
Exactly. Yeah.
The whole, like, from basically Thursday until Sunday, the 4 p.m. game's second half, we were projected neck and neck. Neither one of us were supposed to score much, but I was right there with him. And then his guys did really good the second half of the 4 p.m. games, and my guys decided to not do anything.
When you get a kicker that gets you 21 points, that's tough to deal with.
I mean, that's and he could have had you. I'm sitting there watching that game, and he kicks a 67-yard field goal that only didn't count because they kicked it 1 second too late. Yeah. I'm like, and then they didn't let him kick a 72.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, boy, that was all. I thought I could have stomached that, but the second half he just kept kicking them, and Walker kept scoring, and I got okay out of running backs, but it was the wide receivers that just Waddle got some yards, but more.
Well, Chicago just struggled offensively.
They threw. I think they had 90 yards. He had 90 yards passing or something. So it's like there's not much to go around. I totally whiffed on. I knew that between the Giants and Vikings game, one of those teams was going to have a really good defensive day. But if I picked the wrong one, if I could have picked if Vikings were available, I think at some point somebody might have picked them up. But I think I could have flip flopped that at some point, and that might have made the difference because I only lost by 16. I think they scored. The Vikings, I think, had a defensive touchdown, so that would have been close. Ingram is probably my biggest because in the preseason he was like his main go-to guy, but I think Jacksonville I don't know, just didn't work for me.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever considered just like not showing up to the draft till like the 5th round to see how you would do on with your team?
Yeah, because there was a team out there that kind of did that, right?
Yeah, and how'd that work out for him?
It worked out pretty well. If there wasn't somebody carrying boats, then he would have had high points.
Yeah. So Bab beat Brian. Did not disappoint. He put up 115, and we all believe that Adam will tinker this thing into a lineup. But it just wasn't his day. You know what I mean? Yeah. He struggled to get to the 72 that he had. So
yeah, he's got some work to do. I mean, and I don't doubt that he will. But I think his second,
now Kupp's numbers are going to go up, so he's got to be happy about seeing Puka on the IR.
I was a little I didn't think that I thought Zamir White would be featured more, and it really didn't happen that way. There was a lot of splitting and running back stuff, and the other guy for Vegas did more, and he doesn't really. I mean, I don't know what that Thomas. I guess yeah. So he could plug in. That's the thing. He really kind of drafted thinking that either he could hold off, like that White would do well until Brooks came back, and that doesn't look the case. So he might be scouring the waiver wire for running backs. It looks like, you know. But yeah, Brian definitely.
Man, Saquon looked good, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I mean I think there was always the fear of, that they do that tush push and get a bunch of Hurts running touchdowns.
Well, I don't know if you watch it. I mean, Barkley could have had another touchdown towards the end of that game.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think there's more things to come like that for Brian. Curry or Murray did all right, and now he's got, and depending on how long this McCaffrey thing out, he's the guy that picked Mason somehow.
Yeah.
And so he's got
depth. Now, Brian does lose Njoku. But so I mean, good for Brian. We talked a little bit. Brennan with 91. I mean, that's for week one. I think 31 out of Richardson. Like that's great.
Oh yeah.
Stroud did okay. I think the Stroud will have.
Brennan would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He would have been almost half the team. So or half the league. Yeah. That's not. But yeah, he should have lost.
Weak at wide receiver. Yeah, poor Brennan is really weak at wide receiver, but he got monster quarterback numbers and then decent running back numbers. Tyreek did well, but his other wide receivers and his tight end didn't do so good. Junior, that's a tough. You want to use the number one player. That's
yeah.
He asked for one, and he got it.
And there was really no. I mean, we knew he was hurt in preseason, but that day, Adam Schefter's like, he's going to get his normal workload.
I'm sure that it didn't help hearing the coach say that if it was a playoff game, he would have played. That doesn't make things better for Junior.
Yeah, and it's week one is a tough. You don't want to risk him. And that you got that Mason guy that's pretty good, and they probably thought they could beat them without him, and they did. So that wasn't too bad. But boy, yeah, that and the fact that Junior said that he admitted to having Juszczyk, can't say his name.
Yeah,
Juszczyk kind of penciled in and ready to, and he's changed his mind and picked. And that's a tough. I mean, there's no reason to think. Well, I mean, I guess it was a reason to think because the 49ers are the ones that were replacing. So if you're going to go with, all the Jets guys were healthy. So Hall was only going to get what he was going to get based on whatever package they thought they were going to give him. Whereas, there's a chance that Juszczyk would have gotten more yards or more touches because McCaffrey being out.
Yeah.
But
so,
and then the last, boy, that would have been sound. He might have took it over Andy if he would have picked up Juszczyk. I can't say that.
He got the win.
Got 4 points that he needed and beat him by a 1/10 of a point or something. That would have been nice. But he didn't do it because he's Junior.
Yeah. So and then me and Rennie. So man, Mixon looked good.
Yeah, and your defense, you're not going to get that every week. So you're not going to probably get 17 kicker points every week. So, you might.
No, but I'll take my running back scores because I feel like that those are, if they could just be anywhere close to that, like that's good. I think my wide receivers, obviously not Nacua, but I think that Lamb and Dell have bigger games in them than that too. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a long season. We'll see what happens, but to score over 100 when your quarterback gets 7 and your tight end gets 1 point, like that's a pretty good game. But a lot of those do, when they come from defense and kickers, that's the hard thing is like, you can't count on that every week, especially with Chicago because they play. I can't even start that. They're playing Houston this week, so it's like I'm not going to roll them out there against the Texans. I don't think that they'll be nearly as productive as they were this week. They got a good defense, but So, Dave, I don't know if you noticed, because I love your write-ups. You do these amazing write-ups. I haven't even looked. Did you do one for
It's
starting tomorrow yet?
it's there. Yes, it is
Okay,
there.
it's there. But then it's like, did ESPN call you about these, or like
No,
what happened with
I haven't even
the
looked at it. I haven't downloaded the app yet. Did you read everybody's, or can you
they
only
don't
read your
have
own?
them for everybody's. They're random. It's like they're randomly
Mm,
generated, and it's almost like every time you click on, because it's AI. I don't know if
yeah,
you're a Chat GPT user or a an
I
AI fan, but it feels like a lot of times that it changes. So it's like if you go to your if you go to the matchups,
I it seems like the devil's work to me. I mean, I
yeah. If you go to scoreboard and you go back to like week 1 now, at the very top it says matchup recap, and if you click on it,
but you
it'll
have to have
like,
the app
yeah, it's in the
because
app. I don't know if it
I don't see it
they
on the desktop, and
okay.
that's what I
How
have.
what in the world
Just on my
so do
phone, the
you
desk.
so you just go to the desktop site all the time on your phone? Because I was like, do
It's
you only
it's
do this from your
easier to type
computer?
in the notes on a computer on the desktop version, like the
Hmm.
write up stuff. It's way easier to do that than it is because I can't really do the app on the
You ever thought
computer.
about just typing the whole thing in your notes app and then just copying and pasting it? Because then that thing's actually made for typing, and if something happens, you wouldn't lose all that stuff you type.
But then I'd have to figure out how to get it from
You
the.
hit select all, copy, and then you go into the thing and you just hit paste.
But I'm not on. I only had the app on my phone. I didn't have the app on a computer.
Um, can't you do a league note from the phone in the app?
Then am I gonna type on my phone?
You type it on your
Yeah,
desktop?
yeah, or
Oh,
laptop.
okay.
Either
I
one.
I'm following you. But like, yeah, I would
I mean, I
still
never do any of this stuff while I'm supposed to be working.
no,
What
no,
do
no.
you, no.
But like, what do you watch the scores on? Just the desktop app on your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it updates pretty in real time, and it's just one less app to have on my phone. And I had it. I used to have it. I just don't. I just took it off because I wasn't using it.
all right.
So
So
anyway,
yeah, so like you go in there and they've got this little recap, and it'll like have yeah, it's got little
I don't
AI
like it at all. I
generated.
hate it actually. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. They're trying to steal your job.
Yeah. Did you at least look at the best of week one? Because that was up yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You didn't even say
Um
anything about, how you were mentioned. I guess that's just par for the
but
course.
it says defense Bears 26, that complete blankety blank Smittens.
Yeah, that's you. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you. So I do have a proposition for you though. In this write up, you kind of were hard on me for not, picking teams to the win.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
And
just
so
called
this,
out the
so
fact that you
you, yes.
didn't do that.
So this week I did, and
Okay.
the fact that you still owe me $5 from the draft night, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't think
tip
I would
for
ever see that. So I thought maybe if you would be willing, we could do a double or nothing if I go at least 4-2.
Oh, so you picked winners. If you go 4-2, then I gotta give you the $10.
Yeah.
So here's the problem, Dave. We're recording this podcast right now, and like my whole family's sitting in the living room, like listening. I'm not down in like my dungeon, so like Katie's hearing me talk about losing even more
You,
money. Jack's hearing me talk about
but
losing
it's
even more
possible that
money.
you wouldn't have to pay $5 that you owe.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Because I mean, I figure, what do I have to lose? Because you're never going to give me that $5 anyway. So this way, it's $10 that I'll probably never see. But
Oh,
we can just keep riding it out until it ends
riding it
up being
out.
a billion.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, first side bet of the year between me and you.
first side bet of the
I don't know.
year.
So what do you think? We can go through them real fast, and I can say who I thought I was. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I appreciate you doing the write up. I think it's funny that ESPN's kind of copied your style, and it just
They
made me
did.
think. I wonder. Obviously, that's a fun little thing they do. I wonder if any other leagues do what you do.
I have no idea. I mean, I'm in a league with a couple friends that they're all like people from everywhere that was it's kind of in honor of a friend that I do like a guys weekend with. and he just he'll do a write-up and he'll just say who the top team was. It's all matter of fact. There's not, he'll make fun of a couple guys, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
He doesn't spend nearly as much time on it as I do.
Yeah.
But he's a lawyer and actually has a real job, and
Well, all right. So you started out with league champion. That's me.
Yeah, it is you.
Versus Travis, which we were kind of talking about. I was complaining that I have to face Murderer's Row the first 3 weeks, which is, let me remind people, it is Rennie, who is historically good. He's got the only perfect season on record.
That's true.
Okay, play Rennie not only twice, but I play him first week of the season. Didn't work out so well for Rennie. It's fine. Now I play Travis.
Yeah.
Historically great team. He's probably in the top 5 of overall wins for the league. He's got 2, I believe, championships under his belt. He is the team that I have the worst win percentage against. I had to beat him last year in order to go to the championship game. So, he's usually my kryptonite. Got past him then, but I play him this week. And then top that all off, who do I get to finish this 3-week stride with, and then end the season with at the end of the season? Who do I get?
So there's a good chance that these first 3 weeks,
James Earl Jones himself,
will be way different than the last 3 weeks. But if you look at it, this Murderer's Row you're talking about is currently 10, 11,
at the
12.
bottom. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It's I've been touting them as Murderer's Row, but they are currently the bottom 3 teams in the standings. Is that right?
Yes. It's Travis, then Adam, then Rennie. So
yeah, very interesting how that worked out.
Yeah, I think you caught them at a decent time. And if you look,
I've also been praying about it quite a bit. So there's that.
If you look, I kind of ride your wave, and I unfortunately have you pick to win.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's more says about how Travis is doing than you, but
way more to do with Travis than me. I'll take it. All right. Okay. Now we have another. So this one is a matchup of 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
Andy versus Ed. Yeah. And so ESPN loves some Andy. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, they do. But I don't remember he's probably projected to win, Eddie. Yeah.
I think he's projected.
I didn't go with all ESPN projections for sure, but it's what is it? It's where's the boats at? Yeah, not 10, but I mean this is early. People could make some lineup changes, but 101.96 is what it is right now. But yeah, I just I got to ride the hot hand.
Yeah. So you're going with Andy on that one.
I'm going with Andy.
Okay, so we got Kevin and Andy. Now we got Brian versus Brennan, another matchup of 2 undefeated teams. And just like Andy, ESPN, I believe, loves them some Brian. Isn't he projected to get 106 or something? Or am I wrong?
I don't think he was the highest one. Is that because I pointed out who that was? And unless I'm misremembering. So what we got here? We got
somebody. No, it's Josh. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Josh is.
Yeah, those 2 are pretty even. It's 98 to 95 if you like ESPN's algorithm. But but yeah,
you're going with Brian there.
Yeah, I put too much Saquon. Brian wins.
Yeah. Okay, so Brian versus Brennan, the 2 Bs, the 2 newest members, or no, Andy, I guess is. So between the 3 of them, those are the 3 newest guys to join the league. But so 2 newer guys going head to head, Brian and Brennan. And then although Brennan was saying that he thinks he's been in the league 7 years or something like that.
Really?
Time flies. Yeah.
Wow.
So now we got Josh versus Lee.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke before.
Yeah. They're
you're going with.
I'm going off script on at least off ESPN script.
Because they love them some Josh.
Yeah, I think they got Josh projected a little high, and I think Lee's got some angriness in his guys, especially Aaron Rodgers, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. All right. So he's going with Lee over Ratty.
Means, I don't know if you know this. I don't know that we've actually seen. I mean, we've had how many seasons now of him talking about showing TDs, but I don't know that we've seen Lee's TDs. Have we?
I can ask him.
Okay.
We bring him back on the show.
Will he watch this?
Yeah, he watches. Of course he does.
Okay. Ellie, how you doing?
Yeah. Now we got Adam versus Rennie. So Rennie, after taking a L in week
Yeah.
1, gets to play against Adam, which ESPN thinks much better about this week than it did last week.
Yeah. And
So who do you
you
got
got two
winning?
teams that coming off pretty bad scores, and one of them, most likely will heavily improve.
And one of them won't. So you're going with
Yeah,
Adam?
that's probably what's going to happen.
All right. So how many? I got to get 3 wins. Is that right? So I mean, I
Yeah.
agree with you that I'm going to beat Travis. So now I've got to go
Yeah, you might want to
probably.
look at this before you decided.
Well, I'm going to go. It's easy. I'm going Ratty all day. So and I'm pulling for Rennie. So
Okay.
those are easy. I just got to get one more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so who you got between you and Junior? Are you going to be able to?
I'm betting on myself only because he's had some issues,
Yeah.
I realize that his lineup won't look like it is now. Like right now, I got a huge ESPN projection, but he's probably going to do some finagling, some little
Yeah.
tinkering and all that. But he's junior, and I can only hope. At the time I typed this, I didn't know who I was playing against. Has he updated that? Let's just take a gander at what his new team name is, because surely he's done it by now.
It may not be something that I can say
I don't know
on
if we can
air.
say it on a podcast. We might get some podcast rule.
Oh, well, no, he just said. I mean, yeah. I don't, Dave. When you go out to work and you're in your exterminating like mode, you got that hat on, and you see a rat, you ever just instead of like using pellets or
Yeah,
like
or
poison, you ever just go right up there and just
traps.
whack? Yeah, do you ever just go right up there and whack that rat?
And just whack that rat.
Yeah.
In light of this, I'm sure gonna try.
Yes.
I'm sure gonna put forth the old college try.
Well, yeah.
Whack me some rat.
Between now and Sunday, if you get a chance to whack a rat, I would do it.
I would too. I
Yeah.
would do that. Oh man, Junior, you're the best. What off while whacking his rat. Okay. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
how you say whacking, but it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
he's got some, what's he got here against me? McCaffrey's out, but I think he's got 2 decent running backs. Moss can do better. Stroud's, I don't like him, although Chicago's defense is pretty good. I don't know if who he's gonna go with wide receiver. He's got other options besides who he's got in there right now, but no, it's not gonna be easy. I'll tell you that.
so we haven't done official power rankings. We didn't do any of that.
I did send it to you, but I sent it pretty late.
Well, so I saw it. I didn't get a chance, but so we'll just go through yours. I didn't do any. Looking for a little bit more information. So after week 2, we'll come out with an official power ranking.
I couldn't remember if we started week 1 or not, so I sent it to you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So, but I'll just go through yours. So, again, don't have to overthink this. Andy has the most points.
Yeah.
Andy was in several of the top tiers that we went through last week as we shared people's different, tiers of like, Andy did pretty well in a couple of those.
Yeah.
So he sits at the top of your power rankings.
Yeah, he is because he scored the most points, and I don't feel like it was a fluke. Like the guys scored well. I feel like it was legit.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. So I wasn't surprised by anybody's performance. It's always a little surprising when that many people do well.
Yeah.
But no, I mean he's on. He's the current most points, had the best week. I wasn't going to put anybody else up there.
All right. And then you got Brian second. Man, I feel like that. What number was Brian? Was he like 7 or 8?
Drafting?
Yeah.
It was, somewhere around there.
I feel like that there's going to be some guys wishing that they had Saquon Barkley that picked before him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously week 1 they are, but like by the time the season's over, I think that we're going to look back and redraft the first round. We usually do that about midway through. We'll kind of look and see like what we should have done. And I just have a feeling things could change, but man, is he in a great system with
And
Philly?
I thought, my overreaction of right before draft, I thought that Jonathan Taylor would be that guy. And so right now, after week 1, I'm panicking. Not that I'm not sure. I can't remember what happened, but I'm like, probably not Jonathan. It's probably Saquon.
Yeah. Saquon's looking pretty good. Now, here's a head scratcher.
Okay.
Adam is currently ranked 11th in our league.
Yeah.
And you got him at number 3 in our power rankings. Is that
because
all based on reputation?
Well, and I've actually picked him to win this week, so he'll even up his record, and I think he'll win with 100 and something. He's going to be right there in the middle of points. He's going to be right there. He's going to be right there in the top half. I don't know about long term, but at least after week 2, I'm thinking he's going to be right up there, and it's going to look fine that he's at 3.
All right. So you got me at number 4. Is that really just because you have to, because I played well week 1?
And you're coming off a good season, so you got some momentum. You scored well. You would have cried if I had you any lower.
I would have. We would have boycotted. I probably wouldn't even do this segment if you would have had me down at the bottom. But you weren't super high on my team to begin the season. Are you higher on it now than you were before?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I have some faith that you'll screw things up somehow, but
thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, you already got Puka hurt.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't know what your wide receiver depth looks like after him, but
well, it's funny you ask. I've got Christian Watson, who had a really good game because he scored a touchdown, but then what happened to his quarterback?
Yeah. And I don't know that whoever they got replacing is going to be spreading the ball around the same way Love's able to.
I got Gabe Davis, who had 68 yards. It's not, but so I got some. We'll see what happens between now and.
You're definitely weaker on paper
than I was. Yes, I mean you do not want your what is that? My second round draft pick. You don't want your second round draft pick to go down.
So it's at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, if you IR, put on IR. Okay. Yeah, thanks for putting that IR spot in though.
Yeah, Dave, because they decided as soon as I saw the announcement that Green Bay was going to we're not going to put Love on IR, but he'll probably sit out 4 games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. I don't get to use a spot. But
yeah,
I got.
Yeah, I would have felt much better about my wide receiver situation had Love not also got hurt.
Yeah.
Because I think that Christian Watson would do fine. You know what I mean? He's not Puka, but, So you got Lee at 5. I think some people were really down on Lee's team, but I think that Lee showed that he has a chance to be right there in the thick of things.
And I some of it is, it's some. I'm doubling down on what I think might happen this week to show the, justify the power rankings for the, for current. So
yeah. Now you got Brennan 6. If I would say somebody has a chance to fall out of the top 8, could be Brennan, just because I feel like you got a gift in that win. But a win's a win.
A win, and in this league, wins are tough. And so if you're at 1-0 and somebody else is 0-1, that was the deal breaker.
Yeah.
I only put. Adam might be the only one up there in the top. Well, I guess there's only 6 teams at 1, so I have to have 2.
Yeah.
So I might have left a couple people off that got a win.
Yeah. So, Lee lost, but he scored the most points, so he's at 5, and Adam lost, and he's at 3. So you got those 2 guys, and then everybody else won. So you got Brennan at 6. Like we said, he's got a gift. All right, let's call it what it is. You got Ratty at 7, like I said before. ESPN loves Ratty, although you're picking against him. Feel like that he could carry a little bit of. Week 2 is really interesting because you're either gonna be 2-0, which is great to get out the gate.
It is
for some teams, or you're gonna be 1-1, which we're gonna have a log jam in. Or man, you go 0-2. It'd be Adam. When you watch this, it'd be interesting. Just go back to the last 5 years. Here's what I want to know: teams that start 0-2, how many of them make the playoffs? Okay, that I would say that it would be a low percentage. I mean, it's probably tough to recover from that go 0-2 and then make the playoffs. Not impossible because you just got to be better than, 4 other teams. And they'll be, if we have a natural bell curve like we normally do, you might have, what do you think? 3 undefeated teams, 3 0-2 teams, and then everybody else in the middle. I don't know if that math works out right, but like it'll be something. It usually ends up that we're like pretty evenly balanced.
Yeah, it could be 3-6-3.
Yeah,
something
like that.
The first after week 2.
Yeah. So
it depends on who plays who.
Yeah, and then it won't be
great. It won't be perfect, I don't think, because we got some 1-1 teams or 1-0 teams playing each other.
Yeah.
So there's only so many teams that can go 2-0.
Yeah. So if I was doing this, I feel better about Josh. I'd probably have him up. I find it hard to give Adam a 3 spot. I'd probably have him down at 5, just because of his week 1 performance. Now he may bounce back, and I know a lot of that's based on reputation. Adam, we have complete faith in you. We know that you're going to turn things around, even though I wish you wouldn't. So, you drinking straight Jack Daniels?
It says Pure Leaf, but there's more in it than that.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. And then we got Ed at 8, and that's just because you're waiting for him to lose so you can move him out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the worst, if you lose, once you got that win, the worst you'll be is 500 after week 2. Yeah. So it's like there's probably going to be some teams that are 0-2. So until he's
proven wrong,
until he has a chance to accumulate a couple losses, he's going to stay up there.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of where Dave sees things. Maybe you feel different. Hey, if you don't agree with Dave, jump in chat and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And so that's man. It's always crazy. We wait so long for this to happen, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we're 1 week in.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a game tomorrow, Miami versus, remind me.
Buffalo.
Okay, Miami versus Buffalo. Huge game. Lot of fantasy players in play tomorrow.
We haven't brought up your Kane situation. He's a little banged up and he's got a short week.
Yeah.
And Mostert's already out.
Yeah.
So
but I'm hoping he gets arrested on the way to the stadium because that will bode well for him.
But I don't know if you always hear about, defenses stacking the box, forcing a guy to throw. But it's tougher, I think, to do the opposite. Like, if you know that they're struggling at running back, because if Akane's out or even banged up and you want to force them to run, what do you put? You drop a lot of people back and just force Tua to hand it off or run it, because he's not going to run himself. He's not.
No, but he can just dink it to Hill, because Hill can catch long bombs, but he's probably better at catching a 2-yard pass.
So it could be tougher to pull off, forcing him to hand off. Like that's a tougher defensive scheme, unless you're Bill Belichick.
Well, but also
wouldn't you think Buffalo's going to try that? Like they don't want to get beat over top.
No, but don't you think Buffalo's game is just to try to outscore you? They're not trying to stop you.
But they don't have to. They don't really have to respect the run if both those guys are out. I don't know who their third guy is, running back, but can't be as good as those two. Yeah, but it could be
just look at I'm not calling Miami offensive line anything like the 49ers, but all these teams have young guys on their teams that can run the ball. And if you've got if you're going to be doubling wide receivers trying to keep Hill and Waddle from catching the football.
So do you think this is the week where they hand it off to, Cooks a lot and Allen keeps it for some third down runs and they just run and don't do bombs to guys, try to keep possession, slow, make it a low scoring game?
I think it'll be hard for both teams because they're coming off of short weeks, but you never know if that's going to affect the offense or defense more. Okay, so it could be low-scoring games because, we didn't have that much time to recover, or it could be a high-scoring game because it's the defense that struggles to stop anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who does the short week affect more?
Yeah.
Both teams have a lot of weapons.
I think there's a possibility that this is not a very high-scoring game tomorrow, and that would not bode well for, people that are banking on Tua and Allen. But
I don't know. I don't see either of these teams having defenses, so I still think that it could be both offenses scoring in the 30s, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
And not only that, is this the week that we have double Monday night football games?
I don't remember. Speaking of what, man, I know a lot of people don't, but I like the Manning cast. It cracks me up.
Oh.
People they have on, those two, just the way they interact. I'm sure people hate it, a lot of people, because they just, they don't always pay attention to what's going on. But man, those guys crack me up.
No, it's September
Falcons.
20, September 23rd. We've got Commanders Bengals and Jaguars Bills.
Okay, a double
on Monday Night
Nighter.
Football.
Yep. So will one start early?
7:30 game is Buffalo and.
Will Manning's do both of them, or how do they do that?
I don't know. They'll probably. I mean, the traditional one is Bengals Commanders. The other one's an early game. So
is it on a different network?
That one's on ESPN, and the other one's on ABC.
Okay. So yeah, so they'll only do the ESPN Manning, and then they won't be able to do the ABC game.
Well, the ABC game is the normal start time.
Oh, and they're both but doesn't ESPN?
Yeah, they're all the same. I mean, they're owned by the same people. Yes. Yeah. But
we'll see. Maybe they'll have a double feature of Mannings. Or they'll split up.
And it sounded like that's a home game for the Bengals, right? So probably going to be some hillbillies that end up going to the game.
Yeah. I'm supposed to go to some of these to work for the boosters. Harrison Boosters is doing this thing where you can sign up, they'll bust you down, you work, and your kid gets money for their school or their sport. But I didn't go to the preseason, and I didn't go to week 1. So at some point I probably should do my part. I don't know if that would be it. Yeah. I mean, once you do tickets or something, and then once you're done, you just watch the game. So yeah. I mean, you get paid for it. So I might do that.
So speaking of Monday Night Football, are you going to Andy's on Monday night?
Yeah, this coming. I deliberately I was supposed to possibly do some out of town stuff, and it could have been this Monday or the next Monday, and I don't. Hopefully Josh doesn't watch this, but and Andy, if you say anything to him, I'm gonna kill you. He would care. But like I was like, no, I can't do it this coming Monday because I got things. I got.
So you're gonna go out. So you're gonna go out of town the next Monday when the Bengals play the Commanders?
Oh, is that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be coming back that night. I probably won't make it back in time to work it though. Bummer.
Yeah, but you can watch it.
I might just have to watch it on TV like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
So, man,
I'm looking forward to Andy's. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I mean, fried chicken, football. Yeah. What is golf simulator?
We'll know. Like, we should. At some point in the night, we'll know who's. Some people will have already lost.
Yeah.
And some people will, have a chance.
Yeah,
this weekend was a little dud for that. I mean, really, the only thing in question was
Brennan and Junior.
Was Brennan? I don't think there was anything else even possible.
No. The Sunday night game settled almost everything.
Yeah, it would have taken a miracle Monday night for anything to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ed could have had.
Did you watch it?
Passed up. Who did he play? Like, Ed was against. Blanking. Because he had Purdy and Samuel, and if there was a chance where if they both got almost nothing, then he could have possibly lost. But it
was pretty simple for him.
Yeah,
Did you
there wasn't much in question.
Did you watch that entire game?
Mm-hmm.
So in the last drive when they pulled the starters, Junior's guy got the ball finally.
Yeah, I saw he ended up with like 12 yards or something.
I mean, he almost broke one. He got ankle tackled, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like he could have went 40 yards for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they had a goal line stand, and he throws it for the second time to who's there, Lazard.
Yeah.
But they were like at the 1 yard line, and I was like, dude, they could have handed it to him. He would have scored, and I would have been like, "Oh my goodness, that would have been the worst beat for Brennan."
Actually, I wasn't even paying attention that Allen was in there.
He was in there the whole time. They had pulled who's
Brees.
Jets. Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that because I kind of stopped
because they
paying
put
attention when
Tyrod Taylor in.
When they pulled Rodgers, I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't paying much attention.
Yeah, so they put Junior's running back in, and they put Taylor in at quarterback, and it was just funny. So.
Man, that would have been something. Garbage, boy, that would have been killer for a total garbage.
Yeah.
4 points. Because 4 points. I mean, I think I had some guys that didn't get 4 points,
four points is interesting. It's like when you need 4 points, 4 points seems like it's the most points you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 40 yards is a lot to get when you're just dinking and dunking. When you're going against and the guy needs 4 points, it seems like, oh my goodness, one run and he just got 40 yards. Like there it is. It's like so. All right, Dave. Thanks so much. Week 2 in the books. Man, big matchups this week. We'll see how everything shakes out. If you did bad last week, chance to do good this week. If you did good last week, keep it rolling. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to go to Andy's. I'll send that out on the text thread because, 3/4 of the guys don't pay attention to the GroupMe chat, but 3/4 of the guys don't watch this podcast. So you never know.
And I'm really hoping that off while whacking a rat gets beat.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Josh. I'm rooting for Rennie. I'm rooting for Junior. And if I do that, I don't owe you the $5 that I paid that waitress for a tip.
I always, I make changes to this. So before I do, I'll just put like a little side thing at the top that says who my picks were, so we can keep them on the page and, right there in front of everything. So
yeah, or you just let it roll. Don't even mess with it till Monday.
That's true. So, no, I got it. I can't let it when things are happening. Even if it's just you reading it, I gotta post it.
It definitely is. I can't wait. I hit refresh all the time. Well, everybody, have a great weekend. Good luck, and we'll see you at Andy's on Monday. Dave, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Kevin. I love your work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. See you guys.